Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I can tell you right now, we have a full house. It must be football season. With that being said, welcome to episode 697 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast. The show that's covering the sporting HBCU dash for all things HBCU sports. For institutions large and small, from the NEIA to the NCAA, we share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs in the business of HBCU sports. In short, we just call it HBCU sports pedagogy. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with my co-host Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. We're filming from our home studios in Signal Live, the KSWH 1230 AM studios, with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer, multi-Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper, in a beautiful home at Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. With that being said, let me bring everybody on as we get into this lively dialogue. As I said, it must be football season. With all the group here, we have none other than Charles Bishop. Mike Washington is back in the stead doing his thing. Want to show him some love. He got the chance to join us. We knew it was a big time event when we was in Atlanta when Mike showed up. Now we got him back in the studio. We have AD Drew, who had to take a week off because he had to put in some work, but he's back at it as well. So it's good to have him doing his thing, and we have none other than Wilton Jackson doing his stuff. How's it going, Mike?
Man, start of another week, getting ready, just diving into football season. As you mentioned, I didn't like that little chuckle when you said Mike showing up for the big time. There's a little chuckle. Well, I didn't think that was funny.
It was me that chuckled, or you talking about Charles that chuckled? Who chuckled?
Oh, they know who I'm talking about. Your compadres on the show, they all laugh.
Mike, one's a coincidence, two's a pattern, three's a trend. So let's see if we can get to a trend.
Let's say four's a chuckle.
Hey, well, Mike must be pretty good. They heckled him a little bit here, so he must be in good stead. Charles Bishop, how you doing today?
Doing well, Doc. Doing well. Got a full slate of games, so we got to get to it. And we are up and running. It is football season, man. Going to be fun.
Yeah, we'll do FCS today, and then on Thursday we'll trend into some Division II HBCU matchups, and we might put a couple of back up here to take an in-depth look at a game or two on Thursday. But while we have the FCS slew of games, we got conference games, we got non-conference games, we got indie matchups, we got it all going on. With that being said, let me ask AD Drew, how is he doing today? You recovered yet?
Actually, no.
Yeah, it look like you in the hospital now?
No, I'm actually downstairs in my living room.
Oh. That's
the curtain for outside.
I want them slide things in the hospital with TV in the back.
No, it's not that bad, Doc. Although I felt like I wish I could have went to the hospital as tired as I was, but no, that's the curtains from outside. I had to move the office out of from upstairs downstairs because if it went back upstairs, there are beds in my office upstairs. Right. And I probably would have went and laid back down in one of them. So I had to do that. But Doc, that Saturday's Cricket BXWAC Challenge and I've told you guys this. That's the first time I have ever been to a football game and did not see the football game.
Oh wow, that's fascinating. I remember you did say that. I'm glad you brought it up. Just people understand when you're working in games, it's a whole different perspective. With that being said, Wilton Jackson II, it's football season. How you doing?
Doc, I'm hanging in there, man. Like Charles said, I'm just glad that we got games to talk about now. You guys have spent the last couple of weeks just kind of thinking about what the football season was going to look like. Now we've had a taste of what it could potentially look like from both conferences, the MEAC and the SWAC. And honestly, based off what I saw, I'm excited to see what's about to unfold.
Yeah, it's going to be that. We got a couple more days to tell the chapters of this story, as teams will have 11, 12 chapters. Some of them might end up taking it to the next level and have 13 chapters, 14 chapters. Depending on how it looks, it'll be intriguing to see how that plays out. But with that being said, I have one news that I want to get out there. It's a little selfish, I will say. We at 697, if you would, in terms of our broadcast, which means Sunday, when we do our first unveiling of the top 7, we'll be at number 700. So that worked out a little bit there. So I'm excited in terms of 697 today. With that being said, let me go to you, Mike. Is some news you want to share?
Is there some news I want to share?
Yeah,
there's some news I want to share.
You forgot how to do the segment, Mike?
He done been away so long, he done forgot how we run the segment. You do the HBCU news update. You coming in hard in the play, you going to change the show format?
He forgot.
Hey, how about this business of this NFL stadium set to host the HBCU Classic? Introduced the Versus from game day, but so it's now a reality. What was first reported last week has been officially confirmed. Bethune-Cookman and Southern will clash in the 2025 Tampa Bay Football Classic at Raymond James Stadium, bringing HBCU football to the home of the NFL's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I guess this is final. They'll be playing on the Bay. So I'm interested in the football game, but I'm really more interested in the Battle of the Bands for this one.
Yeah, that would be a next nice Battle of the Bands matchup. Could be some good football depending on what's trending this year. We'll get to a little closer and see what that looks like. With that being said, let me go to you, Charles. See what's on your mind.
Yeah, I'll veer off a little bit. I wanted to make sure to get this information out in terms of guys with some HBCU ties that made NFL rosters today. We take a look around. Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, both with ties to Jackson State on the 53-man roster for Cleveland Browns, Jacksonville Jaguars, respectively. James Houston, he made the 53-man squad for the Dallas Cowboys, as well as Marquise Bell. Xavier Smith from FAMU, Los Angeles Rams. Kobe Durant from South Carolina State, Los Angeles Rams. Brian Cook representing Howard. He's with the Kansas City Chiefs. Joshua Williams from Fayetteville State, also with the Kansas City Chiefs. Kadero Hodge from Prairie View. He made the team with the Atlanta Falcons, comes back with Falcons. Javon Hargrave from South Carolina State with the Minnesota Vikings. Elijah Williams representing Morgan State with the Minnesota Vikings. Emmanuel Wilson from Johnson C. Smith and Fort Valley State. He of course, coming back with the Green Bay Packers. Claudine Charles from Alcorn with the Carolina Panthers. And Grover Stewart from Albany State coming back with the Indianapolis Colts. So congratulations to all those guys making 53-man rosters.
Congratulations to all those guys, as you said, making the 53-man roster. Quite a few of them. Good to hear and see. With that being said, AD Drew, what's on your mind?
Oh, man, so much is on my mind. Just like I forgot to cut my phone off there.
We're gonna find all y'all, boy.
Yeah.
Y'all playing like the football guys. Some people would say Southern. Y'all got their first game.
I ain't throwing shade.
Doc, I ain't mess with you. Only thing is, I am looking forward to seeing what the numbers are from this past Saturday with the Cricket BXWAC Challenge. I know one of those numbers was mine or the replay because that was the only way I was able to actually see the game. I had to watch it Sunday on the ESPN app. So just curious. Great. It was a great game from a visual perspective. Something, and I rarely actually go back and watch a game that I attended, but for obvious reasons, I needed to watch the game that I attended. So
good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, it'll be interesting to look at the total live audience,
especially the fact that we won the Portis for the first time.
Yeah, it'll be intriguing to look at all the total numbers. Obviously, folks have looked at those in attendance. That number was one of the lower ones, but when you look at it in terms of the weather, particularly, it's going to be intriguing to see what that total live audience TLA in terms of what that looks like in terms of that. And I think it releases like today, so we might get it later this evening or certainly by tomorrow. We should know, so we'll talk about it on the show on Thursday. With that being said, let me go to you, Wilton Jackson, II. What's on your mind with some news? What's hot from your?
I'm going to give some news coming out of Delaware State. Delaware State is mapping out an ambitious $125 million transformation of its athletic program. The effort is designed to elevate the institution into the upper echelon of HBCUs. This plan was first reported by Katie Tabling in the Delaware Business Times on August 20th, basically underscoring a sweeping vision set by DSU President Tony Allen and Athletic Director Tony Tucker. Over the past 9 months, Allen has quietly outlined a strategy to match rising enrollment and institutional growth with a parallel surge in athletic prominence. Delaware State, member of the MEAC, of course, has struggled to find consistency on the football field. Despite spending $16.2 million on its football program in 2023, the most in its conference, the Hornets have suffered 22 losses over the last 22 seasons. However, that has not deterred Allen or Tucker. Their plan includes a new field house with turf, upgrades to the football stadium, and a multi-purpose arena that would also serve as a convocation center. Allen told Delaware legislators this spring that such investments were essential to sustain DSU's rapid expansion. Its enrollment has climbed 25%, and the campus footprint has grown 41% in the past fiscal years.
Did Delaware State buy that white historically white school that was near them?
It was like an off satellite campus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they did get it.
Yeah.
They did get it.
They did.
Yep.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, that was pretty big news at the time. So good point.
That was a nice little strategic move.
Yeah, for sure. Where Delaware State was going. Let me end this segment with a couple of pieces. Since talking about media, HBCU folks, let's go in there to California, Los Angeles to be specific, with Howard University grad Stan Verrett announces new sports media venture from this is coming out of HBCUsports.com. Howard University graduate Stan Verrett will be back talking sports sooner rather than later. New Orleans native Verrett, who parted ways with ESPN following more than 20 years with the company earlier this year, announced Monday morning that he and former SportsCenter co-anchor Neil Everett are launching the Stan and Neil Show starting Tuesday, September 9th on Twitch streaming platform. Verrett and Everett hosted the wildly popular Los Angeles SportsCenter edition together until Everett's retirement in 2023. Verrett continued to host with Linda Cohen until ESPN canceled the show this past May. Kind of missed that show. I like those late hours, particularly during the football season. Neil and I shared some incredible moments over the years, and I can't wait to bring that energy to a digital audience, end quote, Verrett said in a statement. Quote, we are excited to build something from the ground up, end quote. Fascinating to see how that goes, and certainly want to see continued success for Stan Verrett, HBCU alone. Last thing I want to talk about a little bit as we get in these matchups. This one is about it's off matchup in terms of media presser. Anybody happen to have a chance to see the Labor Day Classic media presser between Coach Diskin and Coach Jackson?
Thrown down.
I say that for everybody. I'm gonna say Coach Jackson. I don't know about calling these coaches by their first names, particularly if we're not friends. But hey, maybe that's just me. Over the years, that has changed. I see. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. Charles, you had a thing you want to say right there?
Yeah, I didn't know Chris Dishman had it in him to throw the gauntlet down like that. So I was impressed.
Yeah.
I said, whoa, wait a second.
Chris trying to throw a little shade. I'm like, what? Yeah, you talked to him last year. And
well, actually, when he played, he was a trash talker. But yeah, as a coach, it's not like him. And to me, it kind of looked awkward. I just like this. That ain't how you do that.
Hey, caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for that.
But he got Jackson. I will say that he had him quiet there, looking stone face. That means let's take our first break.
But that look on Jackson's face, man, that wasn't quiet. That was more like a look of murder.
Yeah. Last time I saw something like that, which goes back to Coach Cole and Henry Frazier.
Last time I saw it look like that.
The job back in at Texas Southern University, that matchup. You know, you have the Wednesday meeting that goes on with the Touchdown Club here. For those that are familiar in this area, it's a big way to kind of kick things off, get people excited. Touchdown Club provides scholarship money and updates weight rooms for local high schools. So pretty big deal. A lot of fans from both sides get to come out and they talk noise. And Coach Cole was talking about his day when he played Prairie View. You know, it was no contest. And he kind of let everybody know that he wasn't enamored about what Prairie View is doing down there and building. And the assistant coaches left. They got up at the table midway through the stuff and left out of there. And everybody kind of looked and was like, ooh, Frazier was cool and he just played his role. But Saturday, I would say it was not kind to Coach Cole in Texas Southern University. And the rest of Frazier, Dr. Henry Frazier III, I would say now, coach tenure against Cole. He never lost. He never lost Cole. Even though the year that they won the championship, obviously was back. Even that year, that first game, they lost to Prairie View people. They don't realize. Then they went undefeated in conference. Well, let's take our break, come back on the other side, get it more into modern stuff and talk about these current matchups and see what your thoughts are and how maybe something like that may add just a little something to it.
Yeah. A little spice. I love it.
Yeah. Well, Coach say I didn't go to recess. I don't play games.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC. Plus, an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in Duval.
History? Yeah, we built that. Pride? We fuel that. And on August 30th, we run that. Two powerhouse HBCUs, Howard Bison, FAMU Rattlers, one legendary showdown under the Miami lights at Hard Rock Stadium. The energy unmatched. The culture undeniable. The vibes straight HBCU. 2025 Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. Get your tickets and book your hotel now at orangeblossomclassic.com. Saturday, August 30th at 4 p.m. in Miami Gardens.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna loud, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil. With inside the HBCU Sports Lab, we have none other than Mike and Charles, as well as AD and Wilton. With that being said, let's look at the group and let's get into some of these matchups. Let's bring up the matchups of the week. We're going to start with the HBCU Major Division football matchups of the week. I don't know how you can go in this and not talk about the number one team that we brought into the ranking this year, which is Jackson State, the reigning HBCU Major Division national champion, obviously winning the celebration. That is the Cricket Celebration Bowl last year against South Carolina State that won the MEAC. We'll touch a little bit on South Carolina State as we get through here. But right now, we have a HBCU Indy versus SWAC matchup. Jackson State is the home team in this Hope Credit Union Classic, if you would, to open things up this Labor Day weekend. It is what I see as the number 12 team, Hampton Pirates, HBCU Indy, out of the CAA, Colonial Athletic Association, it was once called, now the Coastal Athletic Association, featuring traveling into Jackson, Mississippi to face Jackson State University, those Tigers that are ranked number one in the preseason poll rankings, a SWAC member there. So let's just get right into it. Let's start with you, Charles. What are your thoughts on Jackson State in this matchup?
Well, I think the big thing for Jackson State is coming into this game and making sure you don't have that 2024 hangover. I think that's the big thing. I want to see what that running back room looks like. As I've mentioned before, Irv Mulligan is not there. Who steps into those huge shoes with regards to Jackson State? But the big thing I'm looking for in this game is to see if Jackson State matches that physicality that they brought to every game last year in 2024. And that was the big thing that I think separated them from the pack, in that they punched you in the mouth and they kept punching you in the mouth for 4 quarters. So it'll be interesting to see. Bear in mind, Hampton coming to Mississippi in August. That's not going to be fun. So at some point, you do expect that Jackson State is running the ball well. They'll wear Hampton down and get the victory.
Sure. So, Wilt, you see it any differently? Or are you in the same framework as Charles here?
I'm in the same framework as Charles. I think the only other thing I'll add to that is the physicality is number one, but number two, and I said this on the last show, this team goes as Jacobian Morgan goes. This is definitely a team that is going to be like solely dependent upon him this year. And when I say that, that doesn't necessarily mean they need him to go out and be Superman, but I think that because they may not necessarily have the same exact cadence from the rushing attack like they did last year, he's gonna be asked to do some other things in leading the offense, and I think he's ready to take that step. But this is a Hampton team that's coming in, and one that I expect to be very physical. And to Charles' point, like the winner of this team, the winner of this game is going to be the team that's most physical on both sides, offense and defense.
Absolutely.
You think that's Jackson or Hampton has a chance to be more physical?
I think Jackson State has a chance to be more physical. I think that although Jackson State showed the world or the HBCU landscape that they were an extremely physical team last year, they're going to have to duplicate that, to Charles' point, again.
Yeah, I want Mike, your thoughts. Hampton has been the HBCU killer. Now, obviously, that's against the MEAC, which SWAC has had with the MEAC the last couple of years until this recent MEAC SWAC Challenge game where North Carolina Central got it done, obviously, against Southern. But in terms of this matchup, can Hampton, as the number 12 team, go in and upset Jackson? And what would it take, Mike?
Well, I'm sorry, it's not that ain't that much physicality going around. I'm sorry. You're talking about a Jackson State team with a balance at the quarterback. I'm sorry, you're talking about a team that the last 2-3 years has allowed its opponents an average of 18, 20 points per game. They've scored at 37 points per game. I'm sorry, Hampton has not even met the mustard, and there's nothing in their this new 2025 version of Hampton that lets me, think that that's going to be different. So I think Jackson State comes in, they're number one. They have a chance and probably will likely be the more physical team. So I agree with my two compadres right there. And that didn't even take a shot of tequila to get that one out.
Somebody
Man, we ain't even got to the Friday kickoff. AD Drew, anything differently you have in this matchup, or we're gonna go chalk in terms of a clean sweep? And Jackson State will get this done.
But let's keep something in mind. Hampton has always come out the gate strong with their schedule. They come out 3-0, 4-0. We always look up in October, and Hampton is in the top 5 of the HBCU polls, and then the bottom drops out.
Yeah.
So, is this that Hampton that normally gets off to that fast start? And we know that's during the time in which they play a lot of HBCUs during that time that they get off to that fast start. And then when they get into their conference, that's when they tend to struggle, although they have not been at the bottom of their conference the last couple of years. So the mystery of Hampton, has Hampton figured out? We know they had quarterback problems last year. Have they solved their quarterback problem?
Yes.
Yeah. We've got a good idea of what Jackson State is supposed to look like. That may be something that may not be beneficial to Hampton because Hampton has the mystery. You don't know what to expect from Hampton because Hampton has had a lot more turnover than Jackson State had from last year. So does Hampton have more than a puncher's chance? Yes. But if the thing goes a distance, I'm giving the decision to Jackson State.
Good stuff. Speaking of Jackson State and Hampton in that matchup, Hampton, if you would, the last time they did play a SWAC team, if I recall, was Grambling. And they beat up on Grambling. That kind of shocked some folks in that matchup. Speaking of Grambling and Jackson State, they will play in Las Vegas for the Las Vegas Bowl. It gives me an opportunity to go into office hours as we close out this segment and talk about Chick-fil-A, Las Vegas. When I and my family are in visiting Las Vegas, Nevada, we love to dine at Chick-fil-A, located at 9830 West Flamingo Road. So all you Jackson State and Grambling fans, when you go to Las Vegas, make sure you check out Chick-fil-A, located at 9830 West Flamingo Road.
Check it out.
Ron Peterson, a graduate of Prairie View A&M University, will be excited to have you as a guest. So just let him know Dr. Cavil sent you by, so he knows that I was doing my work. With that being said, let's take this break.
Let him know that Big Brother Mike, Big Brother Prudential sent you by as well.
But it sounds like this goes back a little bit.
It's great to have Mike
Just
back.
College days.
Just saying. I'm
just gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that alone.
Big Brother Prudential.
We're gonna leave that right there with that. I wanted to highlight Jackson State because they were champions before we get into a series where we do a couple of games. I wanted to be a chance to get them at least for the first weekend and give them an opportunity to get their due kudos in terms of what they were able to do last year. So let's take our next break, come back on the other side and get in a couple of more matchups and see what you're thinking as we move it along. We'll be right back after this next break.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC. Plus, an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in Duval.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
History? Yeah, we built that. Pride, we fuel that. And on August 30th, we run that. Two powerhouse HBCUs, Howard Bison, FAMU Rattlers, one legendary showdown under the Miami lights at Hard Rock Stadium. The energy unmatched, the culture undeniable, the vibes straight HBCU. 2025 Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. Get your tickets and book your hotel now at orangeblossomclassic.com. Saturday, August 30th at 4 p.m. in Miami Gardens.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with the professors. As we get back into it, let's get into it and provide the next update game that we will look at, which is a number 13 Howard facing off against a number 2 Florida A&M Rattlers. This game will be on ESPNU. Speaking of your television broadcast, I do have an update. Thank you, Mo Carter. He says viewership was listed at 867 for the game of the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge kickoff there in Atlanta. This game, though, will be in Miami. That is the Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic, which will feature a matchup that gave us a Celebration Bowl a couple of years ago. Interesting to see what the gentlemen think about this matchup. This will be the second of ultimately 5 games that will feature MEAC SWAC. I'm including the last one, which is the Cricket Celebration Bowl, if you would, in terms of the champion of the MEAC in the SWAC, which will be the 5th one. So it'll be interesting to see when all these games are played, how will it lay out with the record between the 5? It can't be a tie. Somebody's going to take it out right. And will that include a bowl championship? With that being said, let me go with you, Mike, first. What are your thoughts in terms of this Howard versus FAMU matchup?
It's interesting. Howard can play very tough. This is what head coach Colsey. He's led FAMU to a complete offseason. And the Rattlers returned several players named to the preseason to all conference. So all that said and good, they have a new starting quarterback. What is it? Is it RJ Johnson III, something like that? Mm-hmm. FAMU has the offensive talent to be dominant. They have the talent. Well, they have the plays. It seems to me that they got to rely on some big plays. They explosive plays. They have the talent to do it. Similar to their 30-point win against North Carolina Central last season. So I see no reason why FAMU should not win this game. However, Howard has the ability in big games to play very physical. I see them more as an X factor. So, but I give the edge to FAMU for those 2 or 3 few reasons.
Good deal. Eddie Drew? Any way an upset can take place here in your mind, Drew?
Yeah, there's a way, but I'm not going to count on that way for it to happen. There's always a way, Dr. Cavil. Was there a way for Valley to beat FAMU last year? No, but until it happened, but it did happen. So,
I should have started out. I'm sorry, AT.
The intriguing thing, let's keep in mind, this is a rematch of the 2023 Cricket Celebration Bowl, where FAMU had to essentially hold on to win that game. That is true. Excuse me, that wasn't the Celebration Bowl. That was the Celebration Bowl.
That was a Celebration Bowl.
Yep, it was a celebration.
Yeah, that was
It
a
went so
celebration.
fast that you didn't get a chance to really celebrate your championship with all the stuff that happened and breaking off. That's what throwing you off there.
Yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, this is a rematch of that particular game. So there are also players left over from both of those teams from this game. So Howard is a couple of those Howard players are going to be looking for revenge from that particular game. The question is, does Howard still have that running game that they have been known to have for the last couple of years with players such as Edrin James there? So that's going to be one thing, and we know if they do have that running game able to muster it up, FAMU has had difficulty stopping the run. Yeah. So you couple that with new quarterback and everything else at FAMU, yes, there's a legitimate chance that Howard could come in and beat Florida A&M, except for one thing. It's the atmosphere when FAMU goes to Miami and plays anybody other than the host team and Jackson State. They tend to do good out there. in South Florida, though. So, I mean, FAMU's biggest opportunity to really blow Howard out, let it be typical Florida Heat, because that is an afternoon game. So if it's 90 plus with that Florida humidity and let that 3 o'clock rain come in, Howard doesn't have a prayer.
Look out. Wilton, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
I'm excited for it. I'm definitely intrigued by it, because if this was maybe last year, at the beginning specifically of last year, before things kind of fell apart for FAMU, I'd easily say FAMU right away. But I'm not too quick to just write off Howard yet. I say that because, and maybe it's because I talked to Coach Scott at MEAC Media Day, and he kind of said that this was a team last year that was kind of restructuring and restructuring some things and getting pieces in place and things of that nature. And so considering that and knowing how things ended up for Howard last year, they definitely have a chip on their shoulder. And some of those players that played in that Celebration Bowl are going to come back with a chip on their shoulder to play in this game or get ready for this game against FAMU. And with FAMU, I think a lot of people forget they lost quite a few pieces last season. You're talking about players like Kelvin Dean, Kobe Gross, TJ Lee, James Ash, Kendall Bowler. Some of those players that were making significant plays on both sides of the ball, but specifically on the defensive side of the ball, I think they could potentially pose a problem for them. But of course, every good coach with recruiting, you get new players in, players step up, and we find out new names of who are going to be these key contributors to make plays. But I do think this is a close game, unless, to Drew's point, if the weather falls in FAMU's favor. But I'm expecting, believe it or not, Howard to come into this game with a huge chip on their shoulder and make it very interesting for FAMU. But I do still give the edge to FAMU to win this game.
Lab, listen, saying it's supposed to be 90 degrees. Charles, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, I think both to Wilton and AD's point, I think this is a very interesting matchup, especially when you take a look at we talked about going into that MEAC SWAC challenge, the chip that's on the MEAC shoulder. In terms of reasserting their physicality. Jackson State had stolen that away over the past couple of seasons with wins in the MEAC SWAC Challenge, or A&M MEAC SWAC Challenge win, and then Jackson State in the Celebration Bowl. I think you're going to see a very motivated MEAC team to go out and go pop FAMU in the mouth, and you have a bellwether running back in Edrin James in the backfield. And then you have an experienced quarterback in Ja'Shawn Scroggins coming back for Howard. So I like those things. Definitely in the plus category for Howard. That being said, I think AD, you touched on it. Miami, 90 plus degrees. I think FAMU playing down there in that environment, you definitely want to put the plus in the FAMU's category for that. But what has to happen for me for FAMU, they have to figure out how to get back in the upper echelon of the SWAC in terms of defense. This is a team that finished 7th in the SWAC in stopping the rush last year. That's not going to get it done against a very physical MEAC team. My heart tells me FAMU will win this game, but I wouldn't be shocked if Howard does get the victory.
Interesting. Well, you talk about FAMU's defense. I agree with you there. It's a chance for them to make a statement early part of the season in any way. let's go. Let's move past this Valley game. I want to save that. It has number 4 there. I want to get that in the last segment, kind of get, a speed framework of that. But let's go. What we teased out a little bit is about that Labor Day Classic, which features number 7 versus number 14. Texas Southern was able to go down to Prairie View and beat the streak, and take down Prairie View. There were 2 coaching foes, 2 teammates. They used to be able to Oilers, Dishman and Bubba, but now Bubba has been replaced with Coach Jackson. We saw how things kind of lathered up, it seemed, in the press conference. Interesting to see what that may mean for this matchup this Saturday. Both teams have high expectations in terms of being in the hunt for various ways. So, particularly after watching what took place to Southern this week, this is a chance for either one of these teams to make a huge statement. So I want to hear and stick with Charles and see what he has to say about this match.
I think for both teams, the great unknown. And I think, Doc, you talked about, being on this side of the Mississippi River. There are times that we just don't quite pay enough attention to Prairie View and Texas Southern. For Texas Southern, it's huge having KJ Cooper back under center. This is a team in terms of passing. They were at the bottom of the SWAC last year in terms of passing with regards to what they had back there, quarterback and Jace Wilson. Both teams were wrecked by injuries last season. But, you get an opportunity to kind of reassert yourself. I think Prairie View is the great unknown. A lot of people don't know what they have, what they're bringing to the forefront in terms of this particular game. It's going to be very interesting if Cameron Peters gets the start for Prairie View in terms of if he can get the offense up and going. But I don't know. I look for Prairie View to make a statement in this game. I'll go with the Panthers on this one.
It's going to be interesting. You said both coaches have really been quiet about the rosters. Although with that said, there's pretty much the expectation that we know which quarterback is going to start. We've seen them last year in various ways of who's going to start the quarterback. So it's also early indication to see which one of these quarterbacks can show some strong play and maybe make a statement in that way. But that being said, let me go to you, AD, in terms of your thoughts on this matchup.
Has there been more excitement around a coach coming into the SWAC, not the SWAC, but HBCU football in recent memory, probably since Coach Prime came in, other than the hype that's been around Tremaine Jackson this year?
I think you hit it on the head.
He's come in. We know the man can coach ball. We've seen what he did at his previous stops. So what's going to make us think he's going to do anything different once he gets here into the SWAC, except get in and ultimately dominate? Now, the one thing everybody has to remember, that first year he was at Valdosta State, that was a 500 year for Valdosta State. And 500 for Valdosta State is a sin down there. So will he do it? Chris Dishman, in his second year, he's had one trip around the sun. So he's starting to understand what it takes to win in this conference. And I was impressed by how Texas Southern ended last year once Chris Dishman got his feet wet and understood what it takes to compete in this conference. I love the fact that these teams get it in early. Somebody's going to have a leg up on the competition. But at the same time, I hate that also because there's no margin for error when you open up with a conference game.
Yeah, very true. Wilton.
I'm going to kind of pick up from where AD was talking about specifically with the fact that you're starting with the conference game, because for a minute there last season, this game had a lot of implications on how things were kind of starting to turn out in the SWAC West. And we know every year, once we get past, week 0 and all of September, and by the time we get to about mid-October, that's when things start to get really, really wacky in a wacky SWAC West. So I think that, to the point of also with AD, you have a Coach Dishman that's been around the corner, seen a few things now after his first year. It's a really intriguing matchup because while I want to lean on him specifically with the fact that they have KJ Cooper back at quarterback, which is what Charles what he mentioned. It's exciting to me, but part of me is just saying, like, Prairie View, for sure, I know they're not going to back down, but it's just going to make for a really interesting matchup. Granted, the players have to play the games, because here's the thing. If Tremaine Jackson himself, based off the things he said in there, over the summer, in the offseason could play the game, I mean, things would probably be a lot different. I may give that major edge to Prairie View, but I definitely think this is going to be a game that you want to keep close eyes on. But I think for me, seeing Dishman kind of go through it already, I'm going to lean more towards Texas Southern.
Certainly. Big thing that is always known about this game, it is a conference game, SWAC game, if you would. Somebody gets the leg up mightily. Let's go to the next one. We go to the Indy report, if you would. I'm sure you can tune in tomorrow for the Indy report, and they'll go all into this one matchup. But it's interesting to see what the gentlemen think about this. Number 19, North Carolina A&T State Aggies. At number 14, Tennessee State. Number 8, I should say, Tennessee State Tigers is what that should be. But when you look at this top matchup here, new coaches for both teams coming into this. So it'll be interesting. Aggies, in terms of what I'm hearing about the attendance for this game, they usually just sell tickets for the one side. They open it up for the other side because ticket demands have been that big for A&T. And so they're going to give them their own side. So interesting to see what that looks like. So you could have a game, theoretically. You might have more Aggies at the game than Tennessee State.
No way.
Is that they can't play. All they can do is cheer. That being said, Mike, I'm gonna stay with you. What are your thoughts in terms of this Indy matchup?
Yeah, so I think you hit the net of the head with new folks on both sides. I think there'll be more Aggies doing that G-Ho mess or whatever Jihad, whatever they call it, all at the game. I'm looking at North Carolina A&T productivity last few years on the defensive side. I'm looking at the performance Tennessee State had last year, where they were number 2, number 3 in the OVC. I have no reason to think that they won't bring at least some form of that tenacious defense. So I'm going Tennessee State on this one.
Wilton, let Mike get you in trouble with the G-Ho. But what are your thoughts in terms of this matchup?
This is an intriguing matchup too. I do think I'm gonna lean more towards Tennessee State, and it could be due to the fact that I just feel like I have a little bit more faith in Reggie Barlow and what he's gonna do for that program. I recently talked to him a couple of days ago, and he was talking about just some of the key players that he has. And I think for people that don't know, they have the former Southern running back in Kendrick Grimes, and he plans to use him very actively in this offense on the ball. So you can expect to see heavy doses of him and others. I think the biggest thing for me, though, the question mark is, and I think it's a lot of teams right now, is who's going to be a quarterback. He talked about several quarterbacks, but I know one that kind of jumped off to me was I want to say his name is Caleb McQuarrie, or I know his first name is Caleb, but interested to see who's going to start at quarterback for Tennessee State, because usually, specifically last year, they had a solid quarterback to help lead them on their run. But with A&T, the air of confidence that I give them in a way is only solely based off of Coach Gibbs, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to take anything away from him based off the work that he's been able to do over the years, but coming into a new program, and especially an A&T program that's trying to be restored, I think for now I'm still going to give that edge to Tennessee State.
Good stuff. Last one, AD, before we take a last break, and then we'll get into what we call our speed round as we look at 4 more matchups with AD Drew. Let me know what your thoughts about this HBCU Indy clash.
Wait a minute. This Jamie Walker on the line. He said that they got flowers will be watered, and they're gonna handle the Tigers. Wait a minute. Here's Brandon King. They got the weed killer to kill those flowers coming from A&T. Coach Maurice Flowers. Interesting. We got 2 coaches who will be making their coaching debut with these institutions. If no one has realized that Coach Maurice Flowers with A&T, Coach Reggie Barlow with Tennessee State. The one thing that both of these coaches have liked to do with their previous stops is pound the rock. We already know what Tennessee State has as far as the transfer pounding the rock, but A&T has always been running back you. And one thing Maurice Flowers has wanted to do was get back to those roots. I do favor Tennessee State in this particular game, but I think A&T is going to be a surprisingly good this year. It's going to sneak up on a lot of people in the CAA under Coach Maurice Flowers, because everywhere he's gone, he's done nothing but a tremendous job, and he's always had quick turnaround. So competitive, but I'm leaning Tennessee State at home.
Good stuff. Charles doesn't believe you, but with that being said, we're going to take a last break and come back on the other side. We'll do our speed round, and we'll just get you to say yay, nay, up or down in regards to these next matchups in terms of who's going to get it done. With that being said, let's take our last break and come back on the other side and do just that.
History? Yeah, we built that. Pride? We fuel that. And on August 30th, we run that. Two powerhouse HBCUs, Howard Bison, FAMU Rattlers, one legendary showdown under the Miami lights at Hard Rock Stadium. The energy unmatched. The culture undeniable. The vibes straight HBCU. 2025 Invesco QQQ Orange Blossom Classic. Get your tickets and book your hotel now at orangeblossomclassic.com. Saturday, August 30th at 4 p.m. in Miami Gardens.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports. Let's get into and go back to this Southern Lab. I'm just gonna ask you up and down, will Southern bounce back this weekend, Charles?
Yes, they will, in a big way.
Mike?
We talking Valley. We talking Valley at the beginning of 2025. We practiced them. So anyway, Southern will bounce back, no
Mike
problem. I don't care how pretty them little green suits they had on at media day. I don't care how pretty they were.
All right. Play with the Valley if you want to. Down in the Valley.
Okay.
Is this a new Valley?
Down in the Valley.
Drew, what are your thoughts?
I'm a witness to it, Mike. Better watch your mouth. Anyway, will Wood get on the bus? Will Wood be on time this week? If Wood is on time and Wood is under center or in the pistol, it's Southern. If it's McCoy, Valley has a puncher's chance.
I see you.
Get your friend, brother
Wilton.
You know, just laughing at all y'all, because Mike, my God, I knew he was finna do that. But I got Southern in this game. I think, to Drew's point, Jalen Woods gets a start, and he's the Jalen Woods that we expect him to be coming into this game. I think they get this win against Valley. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I really want to just see what Coach Buckley is cooking up at Valley and what they're able to do in this game. I personally don't want it to be a blowout, but I definitely favor Southern winning this game.
Good stuff. Let's go to this other non-conference matchup. Let's go into the MEAC with North Carolina Central coming in at number 3. Again, we'll do those rankings. So will they jump up depending on what happens this weekend? Can they get to 2-0? Will they continue to be non-conference killers? Last time they went on the road to face New Hampshire Wildcats. Wildcats were top 25, and Central got it done. Wilton, what are your thoughts in terms of can Central continue to do what they do, get this matchup?
Based off the Central that I watched in the MEAC Spec Challenge, I think they can get it done. Obviously, there were some things to still clean up, specifically the way they played in the latter stretch, per se, in that second half. And Coach kind of alluded to that in the press conference. They played good, obviously, to win, but there were still some things to clean up. And I think when you start playing games of this nature, when you talk about FCS opponents, you still have to play your best ball. And coming into, facing a team like New Hampshire, you want to be able to play your best ball. My God, the running back, Christian Mosley, if he goes off like he did, this past weekend, I can easily say that they should be able to take care of business and get this win against New Hampshire.
All right, we're gonna do like I do in the lecture class. We're gonna speed this up. We just going answer session with this North Carolina Central. Mike, Central gonna get it done non-conference, or will they have trouble at home against the Wildcats?
No, they get it done. Christian Mosey's still running today.
AD Drew.
This is a one-sided analysis, Dr. Cavil, because I know nothing about New Hampshire and have not had time to research them. But one thing to keep in mind: Central did not score from the midway point in the third quarter for the remainder of the game. They have got to clean that up if they want to win this game. They have got to be able to put up points in all 4 quarters.
I'll add a little something for you. New Hampshire Wildcats, they've lost quite a bit, so that should play in favor of North Carolina Central. Charles?
Yeah, I think teams make their biggest leap from week 0 in this case to week 1. So I expect North Carolina Central to clean up some of those things. They gave up 2 huge runs, had some defenders in space out there. That kind of concerned me because once they beat those guys in space, that was Katie bar the door. But I expect Central to get it done.
Good stuff. Let's move over, staying in the MEAC. South Carolina State, as they host the Wolford Terriers. Obviously, Central should be South Carolina State Bulldogs helmet. I'm going to take that one to the home team. Number 5, as they come in early part of this team. A lot of folks thought they should be ranked higher in terms of the top 7, but with that said, they got a chance to make a statement here. Wilton, will South Carolina State continue to win in terms of those non-conference matchups where they bounce back from their last game in the Cricket Celebration Bowl? Get it going for 2025?
Absolutely. I'm expecting them to bounce back. I know there are going to be question marks, obviously, with them not having the same quarterback that they had the previous, from last season. But I definitely expect them to bounce back. You can count on Chennis Beard to have his players locked and loaded and ready for this game.
Charles, you believe in the Bulldogs?
I do believe in the Bulldogs. I know Wolford does own the series 5-2, but since 2022, they've hit the skids, and this is another young roster. So I'm expecting South Carolina State to get it done with whomever is the quarterback back there. They're going to run the football.
Oh, absolutely.
AD Drew, what are your thoughts in terms of this? Obviously, in the playoffs, it's a little different. South Carolina State coach, when he was back at Benedict, couldn't get it done. But last year, they got a couple of FCS big wins, solid wins in terms of our conference. And that was just leading up to what ended up being a great season. What are your thoughts about the matchup here with the Bulldogs? Can they continue to roll?
See, the thing about South Carolina State and Coach Berry's system, he doesn't need a superior passer because with his RPOs, he's relying more on an athlete back there who can make decisions on whether to pull the ball or to keep it. So you couple that with the defense that Chennis Berry likes to put in, and everybody forget he was an offensive line coach. So the line is going to be straight, and both sides of the line tend to be good with South Carolina State, SC State.
Good stuff. Let's go to this next one in regards to Norfolk State. Debut. FCS. He's at home. It's a home matchup. Obviously, he'll have the cameras there, ESPN-wide, so you get a little chance to show out. Townsend has been able to beat up, but that's usually on Morgan State. They will take a couple of teams, obviously, in terms of where to get done. So interesting to see. If you would, Mike, what are your thoughts in terms of Michael Vick opening up his season with the Spartans? Tickets are going well there. They get a chance. Can they make a statement against Townsend and get things rolling the right way?
Ticket sales are going well.
Mike setting this up, baby.
Ticket sales are going well. I don't know really what. Did I say ticket sales are going well?
Oh, that's cold.
Gosh.
Okay. So, I look at, how Norfolk State has played just in the MEAC the last few years and now Towson. I don't know what Mike Vick, what his staff has been able to bring to the table. I think there's going to be an adjustment period. The ticket sales are going well, by the way, but I'm going to just say that I expect Towson to pull this one up. I think it's going to take Mike Vick and that that state offense and defense to knock a few kinks out once they played a few people. So I got Towson in this one without going into details. I'm trying to go by your rules, Doc, but AD keeps going off on a damn tangent. So
I would go to AD Drew. Drew, did you hear that tickets are going well in Norfolk?
Not only did I hear that tickets going well, but I heard that they expect the viewership to be through the roof for this game.
Yes.
Right.
Got to remember, Mike Vick is not playing quarterback for Norfolk State.
He is not coming out that huddle.
Although there will be plenty of people watching, like you said, Mike, ticket sales going well. Plenty of people watching. I don't think there's going to be plenty of scoring, at least from the green and gold in this particular game.
No.
Charles, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Mike. I know ticket sales going well on this, so this is a tough one. Tough start for Norfolk State. They're gonna have to rely on Kevon King a lot in terms of trying to get something going offensively. Just a lot of unknowns around Norfolk State football team, and I think going up against a quarterback like Sean Brown, who completed 63% of his passes last year. Pretty good quarterback in terms of what Towson brings to this game. So you got to go with the Towson Tigers, at least here on game one. We'll see how Norfolk State builds things up during the course of the season. Sorry about that, Lennon Bluff.
Oh, that's wild. That is wild. One bonus, don't have this up here, but it is an FCS matchup, and it's the Alcorn State Braves. So I do want to get your thoughts in terms of this Northwestern State, and then we'll close it up and call it a show. As Northwestern has struggled a bit of late, but Alcorn wants to get off to a hot statement for sure, coming in at ranked number 11. They are on the road. So, Charles, sticking with you, what are your thoughts? Can Alcorn State go on the road and get this game against Northwestern State?
This was my tough one here because my heart tells me that Alcorn should be able to go on the road and get the W. Defensively, I need them to step up and be that Alcorn of old to go get that sort of win. So I go with the Braves on the road on this one.
Wilton, tell me, what are your thoughts? Can the Braves represent for the SWAC and get a big non-conference win against the FCS, particularly out of the Southland?
And Dr. Cavil, I think Alcorn gets the win. I talked to Coach Sid at SWAC Media Day, and he said, a lot of the players that he wanted, he didn't necessarily have how he wanted them to be in the program at the time yet. And I think that this year, he, at least what he told me, he has the players he wants in these different positions, and I think that they're going to be able to pick up a win against a pretty decent Northwestern State team this weekend.
Good point. Eddie?
As the conference as a whole, the SWAC needs Alcorn to go get this game, because if there's going to be any chance for a team to get into the FCS playoffs that does not make the championship game, they have got to pick up these conference wins. So if you haven't figured out who I got in this game, then there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. You don't pay attention to HBCU sports for sure. Mike, I'll let you close it out.
Man, I gotta go with the Braves, man. They got a good solid running back and Sewell, and then got linebacker preseason. Northwestern State has not played exceptionally well the last 1, 2, and 3 years. I look for the Braves to pick this one up.
Good stuff. Good stuff. With that, let's give it a close. Appreciate it. We had a full show, full segment. Good to see everybody's back in terms of preparing and ready for the football season. I'm excited. We'll come back on Thursday and give you some mid-major updates in terms of some matchups. You'll see a lot of SIAC, CIAA. We'll kind of play on that and see a couple of key non-conference matchups, particularly for playoffs and regionality. We'll see what that means and see what some of our experts say here, particularly A.D. Drew getting into his neck of the woods at the HBCU Division II level. We'll even talk about that Langston and Grambling. Will it mean anything in terms of the NIA program? Might get a chance to see, can we get a surprise there, or we'll have to wake up and get it done. Thank you for listening Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, come from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Watson, Charles Bishop, Wilton Jackson II, as well as A.D. Drew. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Watch and Charles Mitchell every Tuesday and Thursday at 6. And we're back on Sundays at 9. This Sundays, we have our first unveil of the top rankings, top 7 of the major division. We'll do that on Sunday. That is show 700. So be sure to be there at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. We look forward to Thursday. We discuss the latest news in the lab. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. That's DrKenyatta. That's Threads, Facebook, Instagram. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook, and YouTube is Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Dream big. Continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles?
Of course.
Mike?
Lecture.
AD and Wilton.
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty good in unison, y'all.
There you go. Milton finally got it down. He got it